Out at RFK Stadium in Washington, the longest such streak in the National Football League. Washington Redskins 8-6. Sam Weish and his Cincinnati Bengals at 7-7. Weish, a one-time backup quarterback for the Redskins, and there's Joe Gibbs in his 5th year as head coach, just turning 42 years of age, the only coach in the NFC to take his club into the playoffs in each of the last 3 seasons. Washington has won the toss, and they will receive. Last Sunday, Redskins beat the Eagles 17-12. Washington coming from behind. They were down 12-3 late 3rd quarter. The Redskins holding the ball for almost 40 out of the 60 minutes. In fact, they are 2nd in the NFL behind the Bears in the category of possession. There is Jim Breach in his 7th season out of California, getting set to kick it off. And the deep man is Keith Griffin, 2nd year out of Miami. Ken Jenkins with a dislocated right shoulder out of action for the Redskins. He was the usual kick and punt return man, so we'll see much of the speedster Darrell Green on punt returns. And the low kick is batted down by one of the up men. So the Redskins, led by Jay Schrader, will go to work. Schrader playing with the bruised ribs, banged up by Philadelphia. Jacoby, Grimm, Bostic, Huff, and May are up front. Very strong on the left side with the 6'7", 305-pound Jacoby, and Grimm at 6'3", 295. You saw the receivers, and it will be George Rogers coming off a 150-yard day against the Eagles at the running back position. And Schrader throws on 1st down, and he has Clint Didier. Bobby Kemp on the stop as we check out the Bengal defensive alignment. Edwards, Crumry, and Browner up front. Crumry with a 9-tackle day against Dallas last week. Reggie Williams leading the linebackers in his 10th year out of Dartmouth. And the secondary that has been hit by the flu. In fact, the Bengal ball club has been flu-ridden. 2nd down and 4 at the 38. And it is George Rogers close to the 1st down. Jerry Boyarsky, the nose tackle, on the stop.
And Marv, you're right. The Bengals secondary, in particular the 2 free safeties, Robert Jackson and Griffin, both with flu problems yesterday and today. Sam Weiss telling me before the ball game they both feel the effects of it, but both will play. Also, Eddie Brown, the star wide receiver, has been hit by the flu, and they don't know how long he's going to go, but he's going to start the ball game. Bengals starting out in a 5-man defensive front to try and stop that running game for the Washington Redskins.
And the Redskins picked up the 1st down. 1st down at the 42 for Washington. We're just underway. And again, Rogers, but hit back behind the line. Eddie Edwards on the stop, but a penalty flag has been thrown. Looked to be a face mask, and there is the referee, Bob McElwee.
We take another look at Rogers. You know, Sam Weiss was telling me yesterday, as we see Eddie Edwards, 73, busting through, normally the Bengals are a 3-man line team. They came out in a 5-man defensive line on the first 2 plays. On this last play, as you see Edwards making the tackle, they were in a 4-3. Something a little bit different to give the Washington Redskins some ideas of what may be happening in the ball game. But last week, Sam Weiss doing a lot of different things to confuse the Dallas Cowboys, coming up with some new wrinkles here today.
From the 44, it is a 1st and about 8. hole for Rodgers, closed up, loose ball. And the Redskins are on it. Again, Boyarsky involved on the stop along with Ross Browner. Washington Redskins did also introduce John Riggins at the start of the game, and there has been much speculation as to whether this is in fact Riggins' finale at home for Washington, although Riggins says he has not made up his mind, and he would not accept what he considered a token start today. The coaches did offer to start him, but he said no, he would not want to go out that way if in fact he's going out. As you see, 2nd and 6 from the 46. Play, and they'll spot it as a 1st and goal for Washington.
Excellent call by Joe Gibbs. He saw what the Bengals were doing, trying to stop the run. He goes to the pass, and a beautifully thrown ball by Schrader over the flu-ridden Louis Bree. Now, you don't know how much that has affected him, but obviously he's had some flu this week, but it was an excellent throw and an excellent catch. Puts the Redskins in excellent field position.
Monk with his 75th catch of the season. And as you saw, has gone over 1,000. Here's Rodgers. It is close to the goal line. Cincinnati Bengals have not allowed a first quarter touchdown in 5 games. Leo Barker was able to stack up Rodgers down at the 1. And now Otis Wamsley in the backfield with George Rodgers. Second and goal. Touchdown. Rodgers with his 5th touchdown of the season.
One of the big things about the Redskins playing at home, Marv, is that the crowd really gets into it. Bengals wanted to keep them out of the game by scoring first. That's not the case, as Rodgers, ahead of good blocking, gets into the end zone, and this crowd is right where the Redskins want them to be, and that's right behind them.
3.5 minutes in. First quarter, Mark Mosley adding the extra point, and the Redskins are flying early. Cover for the injured Jeff Hayes to handle the punting duties, and also has been kicking off for Washington. Gets set to kick off to the Cincinnati Bengals, and back deep, James Brooks and Mike Martin. Martin is a local product out of Washington, D.C., all Metropolitan Easton High School here in Washington. And here is Cox, who has been up and down recently in the kickoff department. Redskins with a 7-0 lead. The big play, a 49-yard pass, Schrader to Monk. 7 plays, 68 yards in 3.5 minutes. And again, a low kick. This is Brooks on it. Brooks could not make the turn. Thrown out of bounds by Joe Phillips, a rookie out of Kentucky. And there is that huge front line of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Biggest in the National Football League, Marv, averaging 281 pounds.
Collinsworth, one of the outstanding receivers in the NFL, home of the tight end. Eddie Brown on the other side. And Boomer Esiason, ranked second among NFL quarterbacks coming in. And will go to the air on first down. He has Brooks. First down for Cincinnati, a 12-yard pickup.
They're going right to the line of scrimmage. They're on the ball just like they came out. Their hurry-up offense as we take a look at the defensive line and linebackers for the Washington Redskins.
So the Bengals, as they have done during the course of the season, looking to catch the Redskins and not allowing any changes defensively. They go with the no huddle. And Esiason is able to complete. He has Steve Prater. Kreider inside the 10, cut off by the free safety, Curtis Jordan. How's that for catching the defense?
Well, Sam Weich was saying that he wanted to come out something different offensively. Now watch his offensive line. We said that would be a key. These offensive linemen are going to give him a perfect pocket to sit in and throw the football. And we said if you had time to throw, now if you can stop it right there, you notice he's got good protection all the way through.
56-yard pass play. The crowd trying to bother Esiason now as he calls the signals. And Kennebrew is tripped up. Neil Olkowitz and Dean Hamill on the stop.
The first two offensive plays, Marv, the Bengals came right on the field right after the kickoff, lined up at the line of scrimmage. 4 wide receivers. Weich wanted to see what the Washington Redskins and how they would react to that 4 wide receivers. The second play did the same thing and got a big play to Kreider. Now he's inside the 10-yard line looking at a score.
2nd and goal from the 8. And here's Brooks. Throwing. Touchdown. Eddie Brown on the reception. You talk about chicanery right at the start. He goes no huddle. He completes for 56 yards. And now Brooks off the option, able to complete for the touchdown.
Well, here is Brooks right here. He's going to run this side. The wide receiver Brown is going to come and break to the outside. It's a good play, a running situation. Looks run all the way. Now you're going to see Brown, the bottom left of your picture, all alone for the touchdown.
That's the first pass attempt of this season by Brooks. Sam Weich has had people like Chris Collinsworth, Steve Kreider, the punter, Pat McInally, have all thrown passes this season. Last year, as we watched Breach tie it up at 7 last year, he had Anthony Munoz catching a touchdown. He had offensive lineman Brian Blados catching a pass last week.
Size and taking the snap and handing to Brooks. Now Brooks has gloves on. Now if there's ever a tip that you're going to pass, it would have been taking it off. So he didn't take it off, and he threw the ball over Darrell Green, who was beaten, and into Eddie Brown. Eddie Brown certainly feels pretty good right there. He's not feeling the effects of that flu that slowed him down, but we'll be keeping an eye on him to see how that affects him later in the ballgame.
Eddie Brown's 7th touchdown catch of the season. And the kickoff taken by Keith Griffin. Out. No, he's going to throw. And that did not fool the Bengals. What a wild start here as Raphael Cherry took the pass. All right, we'll be back after an update with Ahmad Rashad.
All right, Marvin. Pittsburgh, Buffalo trying to end the season with a flare. This is the first play from scrimmage. Greg Bell goes 77 yards for this touchdown, and watch him use his blockers right here. The extra point was good. The score is now 7-0 Bills in the first quarter.
Cincinnati and Washington are tied at 7, and a wild start. That was Raphael Cherry, who was a quarterback at Hawaii, throwing off the kickoff, and it was Zander who made the tackle. First down from the 13, and Schrader hits Didier.
Marv, this is interesting mind game that the coaching staffs are playing. Last week, as we mentioned, Sam Weich doing a lot of different things, not only on offense, but also special teams. An onside kick early in the ball game. This week, I think the Washington Redskins, having seen those films, it may have given them some ideas, and hence that last lateral all the way across the field on the opening kickoff.
Schrader is 3 for 3. 2nd down and 3 from the 20. And Rodgers picked up a yard. Ross Browner, the right defensive end, on the stop. Browner had said last year that there was no way he would play in Cincinnati this season. Did play 5 games in the USFL, but he has returned and has had a solid season. 7.5 sacks. Came up with a safety last week in that victory over the Cowboys. 3rd and 1. Halfway through this first quarter, we're tied at 7. Rodgers has the first down. Tim Crumry, the nose tackle, on top of George Rogers. Rogers had a Riggins-type game last week, carried the ball 36 times. That set a Washington club record. Celebrating his 27th birthday by rushing for 150 yards. First down at the 24. And again, Rogers on a slant. He coughed it up. Bengals feel they have it, and they do. Emmanuel King on the recovery, the rookie outside linebacker.
Watch Grimm and Jacoby right here. Both will be pulling as the ball carrier is going to fumble in the hole once he gets hit. Grimm and Jacoby. Grimm with a good block. Right there, Barker, 53, knocks it out. As you can see, the ball on the ground.
And Cincinnati down at the Washington 26. First down. Esiason throwing deep. Touchdown. The tight end, Rodney Holman, beating Rafael Cherry. A 26-yard pass play.
Marv, the Redskins were blitzing. As you see, 52 Olkowitz blitzing after a turnover. This is one of the things the Redskins have been known for. Rafael Cherry, the quarterback in college last year, has a tough assignment covering the tight end and the pass-happy Cincinnati Bengals.
And Rodney Holman has collected his 6th touchdown of the season. The Bengals now lead it by the score of 13-7. And here's Jim Breach. Kreider will put it down. So they're here against the Redskins. Marv Albert with Bob Greasy on a very cold day at RFK in Washington. Temperature at 26 degrees. Bengals with a 14-7 lead. The kickoff by Breach, taken by Griffin. Beautiful return. A hurdle move and a couple of broken tackles. So Keith Griffin on the return. Take another look at this.
Griffin is only 5'8", so he gets up behind those big offensive and defensive linemen who are on the kickoff return team, and it's hard to see him. Right there, he gets lost behind Jones, number 82, and he just keeps going. He's holding on. He's piling forward. Good run back by Keith Griffin.
35-yard return. James Griffin on the tackle. First down at the 40. Left guard Russ Grimm shaken up. He's been replaced by the rookie McKenzie. And Schrader goes sideline. Art Monk, the intended receiver.
Marv, let's go back and take a look at that touchdown for Cincinnati. Here are the two linebackers who blitzed on the play, and that makes Cherry right here vulnerable to the tight end, who is right here. Now he's going to come down and break across the field, and Cherry, the rookie, they're trying to get at him right away. You see the tight end goes down, break across the field. Esiason waits as long as he can, throws the ball away from Cherry, and a good catch for the touchdown.
Schrader now 4 out of 4, 71 yards. Monk picked up 9. It's a 2nd and 1. And Monk has the first down. Inside the 40. We are set for another update. Let's go to Ahmad Rashad.
All right, Marvin, Cleveland, the Browns in a must game with Houston. This is Bernie Kosar, who definitely passes better than he runs, but he rolls out, dives into the end zone, 2-yard touchdown. 7-0 Cleveland in the first quarter.
Thank you, Ahmad.
I'm sure the Bengals will have an eye on the scoreboard following that ball game as they try to win this one.
And a first down inside the 40-yard line. Intended for Gary Clark. There he is, number 84, rookie from James Madison. Played for Jacksonville in the USFL, and he has made it back very strong from knee injury.
And what a fine acquisition. You got to give credit to Bobby Beathard, not only for Clark, but for so many of these late round draft choices and free agents. Bobby Beathard, the general manager of these Redskins, has done a great job of building this team, putting them to where they can win and challenge for championships.
And Russ Grimm is being taken back to the Washington dressing room. 2nd and 10. Here's Rodgers. The acceleration of George Rodgers.
One of the favorite plays. Again, they ran it early. You saw it. They fumbled it. This time, Bostic at left guard and Jacoby will both come this way, and the ball carrier going behind those two huge offensive linemen. As you see, Bostic knocking the linebacker outside, and the tight end coming in, sealing off, and then just good running by George Rodgers.
3rd down, just, well, about 3 to go from the 32. Quick pitch from Monk and a 1st down. And that is the 4th catch of the day for Art Monk.
It's interesting, the strategy. We anticipated the Redskins coming into this game and trying to run, and they saw early what the Bengals were trying to do. A 5-man defensive line. They went back to a 4-3, which is a little bit different for them. So the Bengals doing that, the Redskins says, well, just throw the football. Bengals are 25th in the National Football League out of 28 teams against the pass. So Joe Gibbs and his staff says, well, we'll just throw the ball a little bit and see if we can move it, and they're doing it very well.
And they have a 1st down at the Cincinnati 29. And this time, Rodgers stopped behind the line. Number 59, the outside linebacker, Jeff Shue, in his 5th season out of Minnesota, hitting Rodgers for a loss. Indianapolis and Tampa Bay just playing out the schedule, tied at 7. Detroit leads Green Bay 7-0 in the 1st. We have just under 4 minutes remaining in this 1st quarter. Washington has a 2nd and 13 back at the 32. Cincinnati leading Washington 14-7. Schrader in trouble. And you can credit that sack to the combination of Ross Browner and Tim Crumrye.
The Bengals with wholesale substitutions, getting a lot of different people. As you watch the game with the defensive lineman crisscrossing and is messing up the blocking of the offensive line. Schrader tries to get outside, but there's nothing there. But it's very tough for a quarterback, Marv, especially a young quarterback only starting his 4th game in the National Football League, such as Schrader, to be able to adjust to the substitutions, the nickel situations, the 5 defensive linemen. It's a lot for a young man to handle.
This is the 8th play of the drive. It's a 3rd and 21 from the 40. And Schrader going deep. Intended for Clark.
I like the call, though, Marv. It was 3rd and 21. A lot of teams will think that you're going to maybe try and pick up the 1st down. If it goes incomplete or if it's intercepted, at least you're making an effort to get down there and you're going to come out to the 20-yard line. That ball could have been caught for a touchdown right there.
And the punting unit comes on.
Impressive thing here about Schrader, he threw that ball in the only place to give his man a chance to catch the touchdown.
Steve Cox back at his 45, and he'll punt to Mike Martin, who led the NFL in punt returns last year, a lower key season this year. And Martin lets it fly in. They'll bring it out to the 20. A 40-yard punt by Cox. 2:53 remaining in this 1st quarter. And the Bengals off the early Cincinnati huddle along the sideline, and here they come.
And they do that every time there's a timeout. They'll get their word from the sideline. The other thing it does, it allows them to substitute over there. The defense does not know if they're going 4 wide receivers or a normal set, which they are at right now.
Cincinnati 1st down from their 20. Deep drop by Esiason, being chased. Gets it away and completes to the tight end, Rodney Holman. Vernon Dean on the tackle, and Esiason looked to be in trouble. Dean Hamill was all over him.
This is an amazing thing about him as they go to the line of scrimmage again. Now, they call this at the line of scrimmage. Now, they don't rush, as you see. They're just standing there. Esiason is making his mind up what he wants to call. The thing it does, it puts pressure on the defense. They have to be ready. They have to be ready to go. And as you see, the offense just taking their time.
First down at the 30. Esiason is 4 out of 4, 104 yards. And that time off the mark. Collinsworth downfield along with Brown. Boomer Esiason has made it back from a hip pointer. This a homecoming for Maryland's all-time passing leader. Washington passed him up in the draft. He was a second-round selection of Cincinnati last year, which did upset Boomer. He thought he'd be a first-round pick.
Well, he was very upset about it. In fact, it was a holdout for a while with the Bengals, and then finally, the third or fourth ball game of this year, they turned to Esiason, and they've been scoring gobs of points ever since.
2nd and 10 from the 30. Collinsworth, incomplete, not able to hold on. Covered by Dean and Jordan.
Collinsworth thinks he should have caught this ball. As you see, 32 Dean looking into the backfield. Now that's zone coverage. Now Collinsworth is very tall, but he also has the speed, runs right past Vernon Dean. Should have caught that football, and I'm sure that Collinsworth is the first to agree with that.
Collinsworth goes 6'5", 192 pounds, 7 catches last week against Dallas. For the Bengals, their first third down play of the game. Intended for Eddie Brown.
There's a linebacker right here. One of the things they're going to try to do is blitz Esiason, and as soon as he gets the ball, watch the gap open, and the linebacker runs right through it. That forces the halfback to try to pick him up late and forces the bad throw. As you see, if he would have caught the ball, he had some running room.
And here is Pat McAnally, man who averages the fewest punts per game of all NFL punters. And the man with tremendous speed, Darrell Green, is back. Here's Green. He faked the pass to Cherry. He is exciting. And he also fumbled, recovered by Cincinnati. A 42-yard punt, a 20-yard return, and he coughed it up.
Well, there's no question that he's an exciting punt returner. He has not done it that often this year. Ken Jenkins injured last week. As you see right here, he fakes the pass similar to what they did on the kickoff earlier in the ball game and then burst upfield. He gets hit from behind by 35 of the Bengals, John Turner, and it's Bengals first down.
He was holding that ball very carelessly. So Esiason on first down is able to connect. Rodney Holman. He is in for the score, but a flag has been thrown. It's a 51-yard pass play. But let's see what the call is.
I think it's going to be on the Redskins, Marv, the way the Bengals are reacting.
Unnecessary roughness, number 32 defense. Touchdown scores and force a penalty on the kickoff.
That is Vernon Dean called on the personal foul.
You see good protection for Esiason. Just hits him right there. Now, Cherry, 37, we talked about a rookie, quarterback last year, University of Hawaii, 22, is Jordan. He misses the tackle, and then it's just off to the races. Holman with the speed to outrun the rest of the secondary.
Third catch of the day for Holman. Second touchdown. 7 on the year. And Boomer Esiason and the Bengals are just shredding this Washington defense in this first quarter as Breach looks to make it 21-7. Two minutes, 3 seconds remaining in this opening quarter, and the Bengals lead 21-7. The Redskins producing. John Riggins. Get the idea that he's playing a little bit with the crowd,
I think a little ham in there with it, but you know, that was just barely 30 minutes ago, and now the score 21-7 Bengals as Riggins goes for the air on the sideline. But now those cheers have turned to boos within 30 minutes. And we wouldn't be surprised if later on, or maybe early on, if Riggins were not inserted into the ball game as an emotional inspiration, not only to the fans, but also to these players.
(21-7). Bengals jumping in front. See Babe Laufenberg, the second string quarterback, throwing along the sideline. Earlier this week, Washington signing the veteran Steve Bartkowski, but he spent only 2 days in practice. And the kickoff by Breach. Really put it out of the ballpark. He had the benefit of that penalty call on the touchdown. And Washington will try again from their 20. There are all kinds of playoff possibilities involving both the Bengals and Redskins. For the Redskins, a 10-6 record, which would mean winning their final 2, would mean a wild card playoff berth if either the Giants beat the Cowboys today or the 49ers lose one of their final 2, or if the Giants lose their final 2, and there are yet additional possibilities. And the same holds true for Cincinnati. George Rogers out to the 28-yard line. Ross Browner on the stop for Cincinnati, to put it in simplistic fashion, a 9-7 record, which would mean winning here today and then next Sunday in Foxborough against the Patriots if they win their final 2. And if Cleveland loses one of its final 2, the Bengals would win the division.
Or if Cleveland loses today...
Oh, don't start in now, Bob. Second and 2. On the slant, Rogers has the first down. Glenn Cameron, the inside linebacker, on the stop. Giants in Dallas, no score in the first. Same for San Francisco and New Orleans. And Cleveland in front of Houston, 7-0.
This Bengal defense, Marv, early in the year was really much maligned. Probably 27th or 28th ranked defense in the entire league. They've gotten that back up to 21st, but they're playing a lot better than they did early on.
40 seconds left, first quarter. First down from the 30. Off the play action. Monk not able to come up with it.
Ball was too high. Monk was open, and the time was fine. Just threw it a little bit too high for Monk to catch.
And there is Jay Schrader. Played 2 years at UCLA, started only 1 game there, left to sign a baseball contract with the Toronto Blue Jays, played a couple of years of Class A minor league ball. Mano says that facing Dwight Gooden convinced him that football was for him. Gooden also in that Class A Carolina League. Second and 10. Good coverage by Lewis Breeden on Art Monk. And again, the Redskins hear it from the crowd. 28 seconds left in this first quarter, and a third down play coming up.
To the left of your screen, 34 is Breeden as he tries to keep the receiver, Monk, from going to the inside. Monk fights his way through, and a good play as he reaches his right hand around and makes contact with the ball before he touches Monk.
Schrader now 6 out of 10, 85 yards. Now Keith Griffin is the lone deep back for this third down play. And Schrader lets it out. Intended for Gary Clark. Lewis Breeden on the coverage, and here come the punting unit for the Redskins.
Schrader cannot be too happy about that. He had a 7-man blitz, which he can block. He has enough blockers to block it. He had man-to-man coverage in the secondary and really did not get that ball close to Clark. He could have thrown it a little bit higher to allow Clark to use his speed to get under the ball and catch it, but that was a poorly thrown ball.
And the Redskins will have to kick it away. This is Steve Cox back at his 15. And that's Mike Martin, third year out of Illinois. And a good kick. There's Martin on a circle route. Across the 30. Brought down by Greg Williams, a 48-yard punt and a 10-yard return by Martin. Make matters worse, so we're told that Russ Grimm, the starting left guard, suffered a concussion and will not return. Make matters worse for Washington, so Raleigh McKenzie, an 11th round draft pick, a rookie from Tennessee now, is the left guard for the Redskins. And the Bengals, first down just across their 32. Remington the center, Blados and Montoya are the guards. Wilson and Munoz on the tackle. Here's Brooks. Stopped by Mel Kaufman, the outside linebacker. Brooks attempted to throw a move on Kaufman, but he did not go for it.
Kaufman,
as he calls the signals, but he hasn't had any problems so far.
One of the concerns coming in there for the Bengals was this crowd, which gets into the action pretty good. He's been doing it with hand signals. He can tell his wide receivers what kind of routes to run, and of course his linemen just going to have to watch the snap of the ball.
Second down play for Esiason and the Bengals. And he's throwing deep for Collinsworth. Oh, what a catch. Earlier in the season, Boomer Esiason was looking for Collinsworth too frequently. And that has changed as Boomer has gotten more experience. But what a connection right here for 47 yards.
Here you're going to watch. We talked about earlier in the ballgame. Watch the offensive line as it protects his size. And we said that the key to this game for Cincinnati was giving him time to throw. It's a 4-man rush. Plenty of time to throw. And Collinsworth will not drop this one. He puts it right on the money. And a big play for Boomer Esiason.
First down at the Washington 23. Sam Weiss was saying concerning last week against Dallas that the Bengals played a perfect game. Well, they've had a perfect first half. Esiason, 9 for 10. And here's Brooks. So Brooks on the carry. Check that. Esiason is 6 for 9, but 202 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Go back and take a look at the catch. We showed you the blocking that Esiason has. Collinsworth with a good 3 or 4 yards on Wilburn, 45, but the ball is slightly underthrown. This time keeps his eye on the ball and makes the catch and gets out of bounds.
2nd and 3. Down at the Redskins 16. You can see the problems Esiason is having in spelling out the play. He's hauled down by Dexter Manley. Set for an update. Let's go to Bob Costas.
All right, Marv, moments after a Bernie Kosar to Ozzie Newsome pass of 31 yards brought the Browns to the doorstep, they click again. This is a 2-yarder. In goes Newsome. It's his 500th career catch. No tight end has hauled in as many. 14-0. Cleveland over Houston in the second.
All right, Bob, Dexter Manley just came up with his 13th sack of the season, among the leaders in the NFC. And it sent Cincinnati back to a 3rd down and 12 at the 25. And now a timeout being called. Cincinnati calling for time. Was he having trouble with the crowd?
I don't know if he was having trouble with the crowd or with the call, but he was over near the sideline when Remington came off the ball, and it's a good thing he didn't snap it because Esiason was nowhere around there. Now they're all going over the sideline. I love this. Usually just the quarterback goes over, but now you got all 11 going over there. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we did a Raider Bengal game, and when the entire offensive team went over there, Lester Hayes, the cornerback, went right over there with him. He just said, and they were on the Raider side of the line of scrimmage, so that's his normal position anyway. He just went over and started listening in to Sam White, and when Sam saw that, he says, let's go over by the bench and talk. There's Boomer. He's over near the sideline.
Back when Lester Hayes and some of his Raider friends came over, Sam Weiss used some of the defensive players to set a screen so Hayes could not tell what they were talking about.
I wonder, I wouldn't put it past Sam White, who we see there on the right side in the cap. I wouldn't put it past him if that was supposed to be a play. If White didn't have Esiason line up wide out there like that, snap the ball to one of the running backs, and then if one of the corners did not cover Esiason, just throw him the football downfield.
Pull one out of the schoolyard.
The way he reacted right there, I've got to believe that that was some kind of special play, and they just blew it.
Bengals have done it in the air with Boomer Esiason throwing 2, James Brooks throwing 1 on the option.
The time of possession, heavy on the side of the Bengals.
And again, the crowd making things tough for the Bengals. 3rd down, 12. Brooks. Flag thrown as Brooks is hit out at the 20 by Mel Kaufman. But a penalty marker is down.
That's something I haven't seen in a long time. The wide receiver coming all the way into the quarterback to get the check off and then getting back to his alignment. Illegal procedure against the Bengals will probably be declined.
No, they're calling apparently offsetting penalties.
Now watch the left of your screen right here as you see, I think that's Kreider, 86. He comes in and says, Boomer, what do you got, Boomer? 84 on 2. Okay, thanks a lot. And he heads back out. Never seen that before. That's great. Normally they give hand signals instead of coming all the way in, but I guess Boomer didn't see he needed some help.
Off the offsetting penalty call, 38-yard field goal being attempted by Jim Breach. Breach has missed 3 of his last 4, but 2 of those from long range. And this one is good. So he hits from 38, and the Bengals extend the lead with a minute and a half. A 26-degree day, RFK Stadium in Washington. This is Marv Albert with Bob Greasy. The Bengals, though, have been on fire. They lead it 24-7. Some confusion. Keith Griffin able to pick it up. And gets out to the 18-yard line. Emmanuel King, backup linebacker, on the stop. And Washington will go to the offense. A 1-yard touchdown run by Rodgers, set up by the long pass straight to Monk for 49 yards. Put the Redskins on top, but since then it's been all Cincinnati. It was Brooks on an option pass, hitting Brown for the touchdown. 2 thrown by Esiason to Holman, and a 38-yard field goal by Breach. And let's see what Jay Schrader can do here. 1st down from the 18. Rodgers ran into his old man.
You know, Mark, being down 24-7 as the Redskins are now, and a young quarterback like that, and the offense as a whole puts a lot of pressure on them, because you're wondering, geez, it's 24-7. The Bengals haven't punted yet, I don't think. They say, are we going to stop these people? They've punted one time. Are we going to stop these? How many points do we have to score? They can't allow that to bother them, though. They got to score this time and then worry about more points later on.
Schrader looking Monk's way. And it's picked off. The interception by the cornerman, Ray Horton. And the Bengals take over.
If you play young quarterbacks, you're going to have some mistakes. They're entitled to some mistakes. There are not any quarterbacks or anybody that's young and ever played this game didn't make mistakes. But he throws this ball. He wants to get it over Horton's head. You see the receiver, Clark, right behind him, just did not get it up and over his head. And it's a mistake that's very costly at this point for the Redskins.
Second interception of the season for Horton, who was a target early last year, came on, finished strong, and he's given Cincinnati the ball back, first down at the Washington 31 on a reverse. Eddie Brown run out by Dexter Manley. So Brooks to Brown on a reverse as Sam Weiss continues to dig into his bag of tricks. Let's go to Bob Costas, NFL 85.
Marv, your fan club has demanded that I do this update as a tribute to you. And so, in Pittsburgh, Bruce Matheson hits Jerry Butler. It covers 33 yards for the touchdown, and the Bills, despite the record of 2 up and 12 down, lead 14-zip.
What a mediocre attempt.
You've been swallowing some Marv Albert pills.
Costas obviously needing a long rest following an extensive season in the studio. 2nd and 10 from the 31. And it's Collinsworth again. Barry Wilburn batted him out of bounds, a 25-yard pass play. Boy, it must be fun playing quarterback the way Esiason and the Bengals have been executing here today.
Watch the protection. He pumps, then he goes back. Collinsworth came to the inside. Wilburn came with him, and he went back to the outside in a perfect throw. As you watch Collinsworth, watch him go to the inside. Now Wilburn sees him look inside, and that is just called good scouting and good execution on the part of Collinsworth.
Our crack statistician, Ross Schneiderman, has figured up if Esiason continues at this pace, he will pass for 620 yards and 8 touchdowns. It's a 1st and goal at the 7.
The first half.
And Kinnebrew gets down to the 5. Neil Olkowitz, the middle linebacker, on the stop. Larry Kinnebrew, listed at 270 pounds. He was up to 280 last December. 6th round draft pick back in '83. Next to the refrigerator, he is the largest running back in the NFL. And there's Babe Laufenberg, who did toss a couple, and there he is again, warming up on the sideline. 2nd and goal from the 5. And again, the Redskins able to stack up Kinnebrew. Now, Laufenberg has never taken a snap in an NFL game.
Well, he may be just about to right here. Cincinnati, the last 2 plays have been in their short yardage offense, having the 2 biggest tight ends, I think, that have ever played in the National Football League. That is Brian Blados, normally a guard, was playing tackle. Playing in, weighs 306 pounds, and Bruce Reimers, was playing the other tight end, weighing 280. They're out of there now because Bengals have gone back to their wide receiver offense.
Kinnebrew, the lone deep back, that's Brown in motion. Esiason with the time. And it's intercepted. Curtis Jordan, the free safety, stopping the Cincinnati drive. His 5th interception of the season. Jordan came up with a game-ending intercept against the Eagles last week, plus a fumble recovery.
Boomer was trying to get this ball on a slant right here. A quick 4 or 5 step drop. Now it's not open. Now he's scrambling. Both receivers, Collinsworth and Eddie Brown, were running around. He throws it for Collinsworth. It goes over his head. You see Eddie Brown in the back of the end zone, but Collinsworth was in front. Take another look here, and you'll see him throwing the ball over Collinsworth right there. He just couldn't reach it, and Jordan in between makes the interception.
Washington first down from their 20. And Schrader goes the middle. Out to the 24. Rogers out of the backfield, making the catch. Carl Zander, the inside linebacker, on the stop.
The Redskins offense, Marv, is not a type of offense to play catch-up. We're only 10 minutes we have 10 minutes left in the second quarter, so there's a lot of time in this ball game, but they're 25th in the National Football League in passing. They're second in rushing. They'd much rather run and throw when they want to, rather than pass on first down.
2nd and 5. And again, Schrader goes the middle. And we'll have to see where they mark it. Art Monk was shoved back the other way by Jeff Shue. Looked like Monk caught it at the marker, and it is a first down. Giants and Dallas tied at 7. San Francisco in front of New Orleans, and Cleveland leads Houston 14-0 in the second quarter.
That's a surprise. Buffalo big in front of Pittsburgh.
And Detroit leading Green Bay in the second. Monk has caught 5 passes for 77 yards. First down at the 31 for the Redskins. And Rogers out to the 35. Once again, let's get back to NFL 85 and the very clever Bob Costas.
Marv, tones of resentment coloring your commentary. I don't know what came over me earlier. Nonetheless, trying to get out of their doldrums, the Steelers go with the reverse, but Lewis lifts, coughs it up, and it is picked up by Don Wilson, who goes 62 yards with the fumble recovery, and suddenly the Bills lead 21-0 at Pittsburgh.
Thanks, Bob. 2nd and 6 at the 35, 8.5 remaining in the second quarter. And it's Keith Griffin. Griffin in his second year out of University of Miami, a 10th round draft pick last season, and he is stopped at the line by Ross Browner.
That time when Jacoby pulled on that sweep that the Redskins used, Browner was right in his pocket and had the foot speed to actually catch Keith Griffin. Of course, Griffin was waiting for those big trucks to come through there. I mean, Jacoby, all 310 pounds of him, it takes a little bit while for him to move from left to right.
Schrader, 8 for 14, 96 yards, and a third down play right here. And has Monk for the first down and more.
Need to get something going, and you go to your main man. Monk is right here, going to go down, break to the outside. As you see, the man-to-man coverage, everybody is assigned to cover somebody individually. They're pretty good coverage. Monk just breaks to the outside and makes a good adjustment on the football, and then a little running afterwards. Thought he could get a little bit more.
A 21-yard advance. First down at the Cincinnati 44. Acceleration by Griffin. But again, a fumble. Bengals say they have it.
And they do. Marv, one of the big differences in this Washington Redskin ball club is that the last 2 years, they have been #1 in takeaways. This year, they're number 20. The Bengals, however, on the other side, are number 4 in the entire league in taking the ball away in the turnover edge, and that has happened already twice this ball game on fumble recoveries. take a look and see if we can see if that ball comes out right there. It's out before he hits the ground.
And it was the outside linebacker, Jeff Shue, on the fumble recovery. You saw the 4 turnovers listed, and that was number 3 in the fumble department, coughed up by the Redskins. Cincinnati first down from their 36. And again, Esiason able to complete. This time, M.L. Harris. So Boomer Esiason, very diversified in finding his receivers.
Sam White, the head coach and offensive coordinator, has played against Richie Pettibone. Pettibone, the defensive coordinator, is calling the defenses for the Redskins. They played together here at the Redskins. And
on the sideline, Cincinnati first down from the 47. Here they come from that sideline huddle. Is there any disadvantage to the sideline huddle?
I can't see any disadvantage for the offense. I think there's an advantage in taking your offensive lineman over there and letting them hear the strategy. Let them hear the offensive coordinator coach say, let's get this done. We can do this or that. I think it gets them involved.
Play action, and Esiason fires. Barry Wilburn able to get a hand on it to break it up, the pass intended for Chris Collinsworth.
Well, the ball is right there. As we'll take another look, Wilburn gets his hand in right at the right time and knocks it away. 8th round draft choice for the Redskins this year. And talking with Bobby Beathard, the general manager, he thinks that he's going to be a good player in this system. He's going to have to be a good player today because Vernon Dean on the sideline, and we'll check and see what exactly his injury was.
Wilburn used primarily as a nickel back. Youngest Redskin celebrated his 22nd birthday earlier this week. There's Brooks. Quick handoff. He's to the 41. James Brooks, who last week went for 109 yards on 13 carries against the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, they're cheering about something. I don't know where they're cheering. Bomb the Boomer, I guess is what they're saying. I think the Bengals just show that running every now and then just to keep the Redskins honest on it.
3rd down and 3. And it's Collinsworth for the first down. And a penalty marker is thrown. Rich Malott on the stop. But there are flags in the Cincinnati backfield. It's against the Bengals.
Let's watch Munoz right here. I think we're going to watch his right hand now as he backs up the block on Manley. Manley takes the inside. Watch him right there. Hold it right there. Can you see him stick his arm out right here? Sticks his arm out, grabs a hold of him. Does a heck of a job. Yeah, nice takedown. Now coming down. All right. I mean, if you're going to get called for a holding, I mean, you may as well go all the way.
And Anthony was convincing. It'll be a 3rd and 13. Anthony Munoz, perennial All-Pro.
I asked Manley yesterday if he's Manley being 250 pounds and Munoz being 290, if he'd be intimidated by him. He says, heck no. He says he's like a midget next to Jacoby. Jacoby he practices against every day.
High snap, and Esiason off the roll. A flag has been thrown, and Eddie Brown is very unhappy as he and Darrell Green contested.
Well, Darrell Green's not very happy either, so they were both reacting. Sometimes you got to give a little play action to the official there, maybe help him make his decision. At least the players think that helps.
And it's called on the offense.
Everything's called on the offense. You know, a lot of times you'll see the players, you'll see the officials grouping together, Marv, and you'll see a player go up as we take another look, see if we can decide what happened here. Darrell Green, 28, sticks his hand out right there. Now that's a tough call for officials. Is that enough?
There's a block for the 74 offense. Offensive pass interference, number 81. Both fouls are declined. It's done.
Now, the letter of the law says that Green, 28, couldn't put his hand on him past 5 yards, but the other thing that Brown did was kind of shoved off of him a little bit there before he made his break. So he had 2 fouls on the offense. So even if it wasn't on Brown, the other one would still go against the Bengals.
Left guard Brian Blados was called on the other penalty. And here's McAnally punting away to Darrell Green, who is explosive, but he did fumble on his last punt return. This is Green up to the 10. Out to the 25. Darrell Green in his 3rd season out of Texas A&I, returning it for 18, a 43-yard punt, but a penalty flag has been thrown.
It came real late, Marv, like there was something went on after the play was over with.
The Redskins are the least penalized team in the National Football League, which is strange because they do play so much man-to-man, and that usually does mean additional penalties.
Good point. For an aggressive defensive style, normally you'd think they would be penalized a little more.
Unnecessary roughness, number 35 on the kicking team. After the play. After the play. First at the end of the play.
Turner, 35, after the play.
That's Jimmy Turner, 3-year man from UCLA, a backup defensive back.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 35, kicking team. After the play was over. 15 yards this way, first down.
So Bob McElwee, nation's capital, although at the recent baseball meetings in San Diego, there was the word that Major League Baseball was not looking for immediate expansion, but a great tradition of sports in the D.C. area, and they love to see baseball make its return. And here's Schrader as the Redskins go to the offense. Beautiful catch by Art Monk, covered by Lewis Breeden.
Schrader, when you get in trouble, you go to your number 1 receiver. This time, man-to-man coverage in the secondary. He's the only man down there with Breeden, and he fights him for the ball and makes a difficult catch, low and away, moving, and takes the ball, catches it, and tucks it away, doesn't fumble when he hits the ground. Good play by Schrader, getting him down in the field position where they can get in and score.
49-yard pass play. Monk with his 7th catch of the day. That matches his total of last week, which wasn't a bad figure, against the Eagles. 1st and goal from the 10. And Rodgers with the short pickup. 4 minutes, 10 seconds remaining in this first half, and the Bengals in front of the Redskins 24-7.
Watch 69, Crumry, Tim Crumry. He fights off the center, and now he's good position to meet the runner right in the hole. One of the reasons the Bengals are playing so much better defensively is Crumry. A big game last week with 9 tackles, 2 sacks, a fumble recovery, and he caused the fumble. He's playing a lot better in that defensive front.
Monk to the left, Didier right. And it's Monk driven back as he reached out to the 5, hit by Tom Dinkle and Lewis Breeden.
One of the problems a young quarterback will make, and Schrader is making it, is he looks to his left. Monk is lined up to his left all the way. As you see, Monk wants to go to the inside, catches the football. Now the safety right there that hits him, or it's Williams, 57, saw Schrader looking to his left the entire way. You see him looking left all the way. That's telling Williams, the linebacker, he's going to throw left. Now, a little later on, once he gets all these other things solved, he'll start looking these linebackers off.
3rd and goal for the 4. Touchdown. Art Monk capping off an impressive drive.
This is exactly what the Redskins needed, Marv. They not pressured. You got a whole half of football to play. They make the extra point. They're only 10 points down. Don't panic. Just go down and score a touchdown. They needed to stop turning the ball over, and they were moving the ball pretty well offensively, just turning it over.
And now Mark Mosley with Schrader putting it down. So the Bengals now lead it 24-14.
Here we are again. Same situation. Schrader looking to his left. Throws the ball, tight coverage. Monk beats Breeden on the play. Now here's Monk right here. He's going to come down, break to the inside, and break back to the outside, and he'll hit him in the end zone. Now Breeden takes away the inside. He doesn't know whether he's going across. Monk pushes off a little bit, says, hey, I might push off. I might get away with it. Nice shot. You can look him off, but that time he didn't have to because Breeden was the only man that was covering. There was no other linebackers around. There's sometimes you can get away with looking that way. Other times you can't do it.
That's not a bad day's work. Art Monk with 9 catches in the first half.
And that is sometimes the problem of a young quarterback. He will only look towards the #1 receiver. Now, sooner or later, the Bengals are going to start double teaming him and force Schrader to go somewhere else.
Coming up at halftime, Bob Costas, Ahmad Rashad, Pete Axtell will look at all the scores and highlights from around the NFL. Here's the kickoff by Cox. Mike Martin. Good return by the local product out of Washington, Mike Martin. .239 remaining in this first half. And the Bengals with a 24-14 lead on the Redskins. Boomer Esiason has thrown for 2 on a halfback option. James Brooke threw for 1. 38-yard field goal by Breach. Rodgers ran 1 in. And you just saw Schrader and Monk combine. First down for the 37. Brooks not able to hold on. Kaufman on the coverage.
2 minutes and 35 seconds to go in the first half is plenty of time for the Bengals. Quick strike offense to get down and score. They're not going to sit on the ball. They're going to throw. I think we're seeing a little bit of a change in the style of defense that the Redskins are playing, though, Marv. Not as aggressive, a little bit more conservative, forcing them to maybe change their style and hit some of the shorter range passes for a while. I'm sure they'll go back to their own style later on.
And again, the Bengals hearing it from this capacity crowd. Rodney Holman run out by Monty Coleman.
Amazing what one score by the Redskins will do to get this crowd back in the ballgame.
But Esiason has not had that much of a problem, although he did call timeout once. He has managed to call the signals, and the Bengals have not been messed up by the crowd.
I think you have to get that credit to Sam White for the preparation and bringing him in here. They said they worked with crowd noise this week, did a good job of getting them ready.
Third down, 7 from the 40. Dean Hamill on the cover-up. Esiason tripped, and Hamill gets credit for his 6th sack of the season.
'72 is Manley, and Hamill coming around the outside. This is a good sack by Esiason, because if he didn't go down, he was going to throw the ball into the Redskins' hands, because there was good tight coverage in the secondary. There are times to take a sack, and there are times to throw it away, and did the smart thing there.
They call him the Tasmanian Devil for his all-out style of play. Dean Hamill.
He's telling man a story right there. He says, I broke to the outside, Dexter came inside, I looped to the outside. You should have seen the speed on me. I was faster than Dexter. Look at him. He's telling him, Dexter, that's good. Let's do that again. I get the sack, you get all the blockers.
Washington Redskins with a mimic of the Cincinnati Bengals. They came to the sideline.
Well, they're on defense, so if they're on the sideline and that offense comes back out on the field, they better get back out there pretty quickly.
Pat McInally will come on to punt for the third time today. 2:18 remaining in this first half. And the Bengals leading the Redskins by the score of 24-14. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, and it is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or the use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Washington Redskins and the National Football League is prohibited. McInally back at his 10. He has the lowest net punting average in the NFL, and that's Darrell Green awaiting the punt at his 30. And a good one. Green is set back. Darrell Green going all the way.
Cheers turn to boos.
That's your foul. Unnecessary roughness, number 35.
Well, last week, Darrell Green went 90 yards for a touchdown, and it was called back. In fact, head coach Joe Gibbs not pleased with the officiating of the game against the Eagles. He goes 76 here, and it's called back.
And I think, Marv, I'm almost sure that the foul last week was also on 45 Barry Wilbur. It was on today and also last week. 2 touchdowns that Darrell Green ran back, called back.
It was Wilburn last week. So a good punt by McInally, a 50-yard punt. And McInally is hurt. 2 minutes free to Darrell Green.
Went over, sat down on the bench right next to him, and he was distraught and actually said, I'm sorry. But here you see a great run back by Darrell Green, a world-class sprinter, used to do this in college and do it very well. All for naught.
77 yards, but they call it back. And Washington first down for their 45. Pretty catch. Monk had to come back for it. Hit down by Breeden.
You know, Marv, I can remember a time when not many rookies played for the Washington Redskins. A lot of their veterans played on the special teams. Today, we've seen here a rookie strong safety that allowed a touchdown earlier in the ball game as we take a look at Schrader throwing off his back foot, and now the rookie Wilburn having another touchdown called back on a flag.
First down for Schrader, going further downfield. And it is incomplete, but a flag thrown. Art Monk nearly made a sensational recovery, but might get the call. Let's see. Yes, he will. It is against Cincinnati. An interference penalty.
You know, with the number of passes that Schrader is throwing to Monk, if I were the Cincinnati defense, I think I'd play like a box and one. I think I'd have a man-to-man on him and also play zone down there. We can't see where the foul occurred before he came into the picture, but you got to stop Monk first because that's where the balls are going.
Off the interference, it'll be a first down at the Cincinnati 15, a minute 19 left, first half. Cincinnati leading Washington 24-14. Schrader with the time, overthrows Gary Clark. Look out. Oh, that's Ray Horton who landed on the other side.
Horton says, how do I get back in the ballpark? He said, I don't know how to get in. I certainly don't want to come back in the way I went out.
Imagine Horton pulled out a ticket now. Come on back, Ray.
Schrader does a smart thing. He's covered. Horton has good coverage. He just throws this one out of the ballpark. Whoa.
Oh. And a kick back of the head. From time to time, although it has been Schrader for the most part looking for Monk, he has looked for Gary Clark, but that has been it. He threw his first pass to Clint Didion.
You know, as bad as the Redskins looked about 3 or 4 minutes ago, they're right back in this ballgame.
2nd and 10 from the 15. Monk, the intended receiver, that's Horton, checking his helmet. It's been a physical series for Ray Horton. And McAnally limping off. Jim Breach has punted on a couple of occasions this season for Cincinnati, although that is not his specialty. 3rd down and 10. Monk with 10 catches, 164 yards, 1 touchdown. And Schrader is 13 for 21. A minute 8 left, first half. Rush, and Schrader hit down on the blitz by Lewis Breeden. And he hurt his hand.
Breeden on a safety blitz. He was lined up. They were in their dime, nickel or dime package, 6 defensive backs, and actually was lined up as a safety. You see Breeden 34 on the left side of your screen, not being picked up. The Hogs blocking the bigger men, letting the smaller Breeden slip through. Schrader didn't have a chance as Breeden is, he's had a problem with that hand before. I think that's the hand that he broke earlier in the year.
And a 42-yard attempt for Mark Mosley, who last week against the Eagles hit from 32 and missed from 47. Aside from teammates' degrees, and a 42-yard field goal attempt for the 14-year veteran, Mark Mosley. That's the time remaining, first half. Bengals striking early. They now lead Washington. The Redskins showing signs here in the second quarter. It's a 24-14 ball game. And here is Mosley. It is good. Mosley from 42. If they could win their final 2 and finish at 10-6, it would mean a wild card playoff berth if either the Giants beat the Cowboys today, or the 49ers lose one of their final 2, or the Giants lose their final 2.
And the Redskins over the years, Marv, have been good late in the season. The last 4 games of the year, they have won the last 4 games the last 3 years. And in fact, going back 5 years, they're 18-2 over the last 4 games of the season. So they always close it out strong.
Steve Cox kicking it off. Skipping by Stanford Jennings. And they'll bring it out to the 20 with 30 seconds to go in this first half. You know, there's another wild possibility for the Redskins. They can still win the division if they win their last 2. And how about this? If the Cowboys and the Giants tie today, and then the Cowboys and Giants lose their last game. Can't happen.
I think Joe Gibbs' best shot at getting in the playoffs. He has to win his last two. If the Giants beat Dallas today, they're in. Because next week, Dallas plays San Francisco, and one of those two teams will lose and be out of the playoffs. So he's hoping to win two, and Dallas to lose today to the Giants.
Cincinnati just running out the clock. Bengals can also win the division with 2 victories and a loss by the Browns, or with 1 victory, provided the Browns lose to Houston, and the Bengals would win the division in a 2-way tie. Browns would win it in a 2-way tie with the Steelers. Bob will have a complete wrap-up on camera at halftime.
I'll tell you what, Sam White and Joe Gibbs and the players don't know. They're just going to go out and try to win and see where the chips fall. And they know if they win, they're going to be in.
So that is the end of the first half. Cincinnati getting off strong after that 1-yard touchdown run by George Rogers, set up by Schrader to Monk for 49 yards. Then it was Brooks on the halfback option to Eddie Brown. Big play was Esiason to Kreider on a 56-yard pass play that tied it at 7. Esiason to the tight end Holden twice, once from 26, once from 51. That was following the fumbled punt return by Darrell Green. 38-yard field goal by Breach. Then it was a 4-yard touchdown pass, Schrader to Monk.
The key thing on here is in the Redskin column under turnovers, Marv. 4 turnovers. Normally that's in their favor, but this year it hasn't worked that way, and it's cost them.
And the kickoff by Cox, run out by Martin. And a flag is down. Good second effort by Martin. Monty Coleman on the stop.
George Wansley, 39, a little bit upset.
It's against the Bengals. Referee Bob McElwee.
Holding number 56 on the receiving team during the return.
Ron Simpkins called on the penalty. We've received word that Cincinnati punter Pat McInally suffered a hip pointer. We saw him leave late in the second quarter, head to the locker room, and he will not return. So we'll probably see the kicker, Jim Breach, handle the punting. Cincinnati first down from their 15. And Kennebrew refuses to go down. Larry Kennebrew turned around a couple of times by Mel Kaufman.
You know, they weigh Kennebrew in every day. His weight on the program, I think, is listed as about 255 pounds. But in talking with the coaches, they say, well, 270 or 275 would be more accurate.
That was earlier in the season, 255. I believe they admit to 270 now. It's been a very quiet day for Kennebrew. 4 carries, 5 yards, but the Bengals have been doing it in the air. 2nd and 7. Esiason with the time. And good coverage. Rodney Holman did not make the turn. Monty Coleman was right there. Monty Coleman in his 7th season out of Central Arkansas. There he is, number 51. 10.5 sacks last year, but he's been hurting this season and has not come up with his usual production.
Change in the second half defense for the Redskins has Coleman in there. They've taken Olkowitz out, put in their 3 linebackers that are better against the pass, Marv, and I think they're worried more about the Bengals throwing the ball than they are about them running.
3rd down, 6. Cincinnati from their 19. We're just underway. 3rd quarter. That's Kreider in motion. And Esiason looking for Collinsworth. So the coverage of Cherry and Wilburn keeping it away from Chris Collinsworth.
And smart play by the Bengals. 2 rookies, Cherry and Wilburn, on the very tall Collinsworth, and this time the ball underthrown. If he could have gotten it out a little further, perhaps Collinsworth could have come down with it, but he did a good job in knocking it away from the two Redskins.
And we will see Jim Breach drop back as the punter replacing the injured McAnally. He has punted twice this season. There you see his average, a 33-yarder and a 9-yarder. And the explosive Darrell Green is back at midfield. Good punt by Breach. And Green tripped up. 19-yard return by Green.
He is exciting. Talking to him before the ball game, he said, well, I guess I'm going to be returning punts all day. He said they're going to need me going to score some points. He's making the moves right here, holds on to the football, but he's an exciting man. He's just too valuable, Marv, to have back there all the time, as you see him taking a look at him right now.
Joe Theismann on his weekly television show yesterday here in the Washington area said he feels Green could return 1 out of every 5 for a touchdown if given that kind of opportunity.
I think he's bettered that average already here today, although the one was called back. Reverse.
This is Clark. Ross Browner able to run him out. Rogers to Clark on the reverse. And both coaches going deep into their bag of tricks here this afternoon.
Watch from the left side of your screen. You'll see the white-shirted Clark take the ball right there. Now, most of the black shirts are to the left, so it's set up pretty well, except for number 22 out there in good shape. That's James Griffin for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Picked up 7, second down, and 3 from the 29. And Rogers took a big hit. He ran into Ross Browner, or perhaps the other way. Ross Browner ran into George Rogers.
Browner playing over Jacoby, number 66. Jacoby tries to block him in, and the runner breaks back to the inside. That time the play was designed to go outside, and Rogers took it upon himself to come back inside, and that may be the last time he'll do that for a while.
Third down and 2. And it is Rogers looking to pick up the first down. To this point, we have not seen John Riggins, although Joe Gibbs, in discussing it before the game, did make the point that he would not be reluctant to use Riggins. There has been speculation that it could be his home finale. Fans, of course, would love to see him. There's also been the thought, as you mentioned, Bob, that perhaps Riggins will come on later if the Skins need some emotional support, get this crowd lifted.
One of the reasons we haven't seen him is that they've been behind throwing the ball a lot, and Keith Griffin has been in there in the one-back offense.
4th and 1. And the first down is picked up by Rogers. George Rogers, who ran for 150 yards last week against the Eagles, now, as you see, 46 yards, 18 carries, and has the first down at the Cincinnati 22. 4.5 minutes gone by. Third quarter. Clark to the left, and Monk goes slot left. 85 Warren lined up in the backfield now in motion. And Schrader just a bit off, intended for Clark. Horton on the coverage.
It's a good time to throw, Marv. First down inside the 20-yard line. As you take another look, good protection, has all kinds of time to throw. Has to throw it over that linebacker. That's what caused it to be a little bit high. That time he looked to the right before he came back to the left side. You know, quarterbacks, young quarterbacks, have a lot of things to worry about, and one of the least of which is where you look before you throw, and that'll just come for him.
Second down and 10. Didier in motion. Incomplete. intended for Clark, who has not caught a pass yet today, among the leaders in receptions in the NFC. Ahmad Rashad is set for an update. Let's go to NFL 85.
All right, Marv, this is one of the things that I don't miss about football. Watch this. You know you're in real trouble when you're running forward, and the first thing that hits the ground is the back of your head. Marv?
I'd say that's a good point.
Ahmad can get so profound at times.
It's a lot safer in the booth, I'll tell you, whether you're a quarterback being sacked or a receiver being upended.
3rd down and 10. And Schrader throwing, intended for Didier.
Well, that time, Marv, I think he threw it to the wrong man. He should have thrown it to Clark because Clark had single coverage. This time Didier attracts the crowd. 4 Bengals around. Really, 3 defensive backs have an opportunity. But if he would looked right and thrown back to the left side, Clark was open on a corner pattern in the corner of the end zone.
And James Griffin able to get a piece of it. 39-yard field goal attempt now from Mosley, who hit from 45,431. 149th straight sellout at RFK in our nation's capital. Marv Albert with Bob Greasy. And this is Steve Cox kicking to Mike Martin and Stanford Jennings. It is Martin out to the 10. 20. Across the 30-yard line. And looked like Martin went down hard. Ball spotted at the 32. And the Bengals will go 1st and 10 from the 32. Martin apparently is all right. 9:40 remaining in this 3rd quarter. And Washington has closed the gap. They were down at one kickoff and trying to walk it off in front of the Cincinnati bench. Mike Martin, who is from the Washington area, putting the Bengals 1st down at the 32-yard line. Look out. Dave Butts, a little anxious.
The offensive guard, you don't want to be in front of Butts.
Number 65 defense.
When he encroaches, it's a little bit more of an encroachment. It's like an earthquake moving.
6'7", 295 pounds from your alma mater, a Boilermaker out of Purdue. 1st and 5. Charles Alexander carrying for the first time is hit for the loss by Dexter Manley.
Kind of feel the momentum of this game has changed, Marv, with the Redskins doing very well their last few possessions and the Bengals having some problems. They have not scored since 24-7. The Redskins scoring the last 13 points. The Bengals' last 4 possessions, an interception and 3 punts, all 4 plays or less each possession.
2nd and 9 off the loss of 4 by Alexander. And Esiason looking for the 1st down. He threw a head fake, but he's short of the 1st down at the 40. Monty Coleman able to cover up. And there's the Babe warming up again. Babe Laufenberg has been up and down behind that Washington bench.
Ask Babe who won the Old Oaken Bucket this year.
Did he ask you what is that?
He certainly did. He knew what it was, but you don't.
No, I do.
It's the rivalry between Indiana and Purdue. Obviously, he was an Indiana quarterback, and the Boilermakers winning that bucket again this year.
It has been a tradition in my household. I ask for films of the game the following week to check it out. 3rd down and 2 from the 40. And it's Alexander with the 1st down and some more. Charles Alexander, a big man at 6'1", about 230 pounds, getting outside for 18 yards and a 1st down. Alexander coming on for Kinnebrew.
Here's a reverse right here. Here's Alexander. He's going to get the ball, but the man they fake out is right here. He's going to see the fake and come this way, and Alexander is going back the other way. Watch the linebacker on the right. As you see, the play action goes that way. He says, oh, it must be a sweep that way. Wait a minute. It's going the other way. That's a film study. Sam White puts it in a critical situation.
First down at the Washington 42. And Esiason throws deep for Collinsworth. Covered by Wilburn. Barry Wilburn replacing the injured Vernon Dean at the right cornerback position.
The Redskins have thrown a lot of passes to Art Monk. The Bengals have thrown a lot of passes at Barry Wilburn, 45, the rookie, as they're sending their #1 receiver and their tall receiver down. This ball just thrown, and good coverage by Wilburn.
Collinsworth has caught 2 today for 72 yards. Now Esiason has a 2nd and 10 at the Redskin 42. Bengals by 4, 24-20. And the swing for Brooks. And a hard hit at the 35. Wilburn stopping Brooks. And Brian Blados, the left guard, slow to get up.
What you're seeing here, Marv, is a philosophical change by Richie Pettibone, the defensive coordinator, assistant head coach for the Redskins. A lot of zone, not a lot of man coverage. They've been burned in the first half, in the first quarter, actually, so they're playing a little bit more conservatively and not taking as many chances.
Blados now going to the Cincinnati sideline and replaced by Bruce Kozerski.
Defensive plays against Sam White's offense.
3rd down and 3 at the Redskin 35. And Neil Okowitz putting the hit on to stop Stanford Jennings.
It's going to be 4th down. They're at the line of scrimmage, ready to go again. It's a hurry-up offense as we look at the play. 3 backs in the backfield. Another new wrinkle for the Bengals.
It is a 4th and 1. Cincinnati going for it from the Washington 34. Brooks looking to make the turn, and he stopped. Darrell Green came up to make the stop.
And Rafael Cherry with a big play. Cherry earlier in the ball game was burned by Holman. Take a look to the right side. The cornerbacks on the outside have to get upfield and contain the play. They're stretching it to the wide side. They get around the blocks, and now they come up and make the play. Cherry with the final hit, well short of the first down. I always like to see an ex-quarterback. You know, when I found out that Cherry was a quarterback last year at the University of Hawaii, coming in, and with the injury to Ken Coffey, now playing strong safety for this Redskin defense. It's a tough job.
They were thinking of trying him at running back. He's quite an all-around player. Washington takes over from the 37. And Gary Clark, the intended receiver.
We talked about the momentum. We showed you what the Bengals had done. 4 punts, an interception, and now you look at what the Redskins have done. Their last 3 possessions, a touchdown and 2 field goals, and there's obvious with that last defensive stop of the Bengals offense, the momentum is certainly with the Washington Redskins.
Now Clark is right, bottom of your screen, Didier left. And that was deflected, intended for Art Monk. Third and 10 coming up for Jay Schrader.
Jay looking to the sidelines. I didn't like that play, and I don't know if I'm going to like this one as we take a look at Dallas ahead of the Giants, but Schrader getting the calls from the sideline, and I think this is a good move. You know, you see a lot of teams calling the plays for the quarterbacks now. It takes the pressure off them, especially young quarterbacks. I think that's one of the reasons you're seeing the young quarterbacks being so successful in the league this year.
Schrader is 0 for his last 7. Third down, 10. And has the first down. Gary Clark with a 14-yard pickup, his first catch of the day. John Simmons, the extra defensive back, on the stop.
When Ahmad was doing that update a while back, I said it's safe in the booth. This is one of the reasons it's a lot safer right here. That's Boyarsky, 61 with the hit.
Jerry Boyarsky, who is a street fighter type player and usually likes to maul the opposition.
Schrader with that cracked rib probably re-injured it on that play.
First down midfield. Rodgers for a short pickup. George Rodgers averaging about 4.5 yards per carry. Has gone for only 48 on 19 carries today from Ryan Browner combining on George Rodgers. 4.5 left, third quarter. Cincinnati leading Washington 24-20. They led at one point 24-7. Second down and 7 at the Cincinnati 46. Rodgers. Boyarsky and Edwards right there.
Browner made that play, Marv. Excuse me, getting upfield and forcing Rodgers to cut back inside where the pursuit could then make the tackle. It was a good play by Ross Browner.
Browner, Crumry, Edwards up front. And a third down and 7 for the Redskins. That is Didier in motion. Schrader going sideline, incomplete. Clark, the intended receiver.
This is one of the things that the switch in quarterbacks has not changed from Joe Theismann to Jay Schrader. The little sprint out, the little rollout that the Redskins use, a lot of teams are using it, and it's good to get the quarterback outside the pocket and give the defense a little bit of a change-up and something else to look at.
Here's Steve Cox, one-time Cleveland Brown. He was signed as a free agent back on October the 1st when Jeff Hayes was injured. And he'll punt from inside his 40. Mike Martin is back. No rush. And Martin calls fair catch. A 30-yard punt, no return. And Cincinnati gets the ball back with 3.5 remaining. Third quarter, 17-yard line, 3.5 remaining third quarter. Rodney Holman off the swing pass. Stopped by a combination of Curtis Jordan and Darrell Green. Rodney Holman has been very much part of the offense today, number 82.
Take a look at the offensive line, the big offensive line. 3 #1 draft choices as we look at Remington, right in the middle, the center. Blocks for a while and then goes out on the screen. Gets a good block on Olkowitz, number 52, to help spring the running back on the play.
8-yard pickup. And now Max Montoya shaken up. Brian Blados, who left during the last series and was replaced by backup Bruce Kozerski, is back in there, but there you see Montoya. Coming up next here on NBC Sports, the second half of our NFL doubleheader. The Seattle Seahawks, still in the playoff hunt, will go against the AFC Western Division leading Los Angeles Raiders. That'll be from the Coliseum in L.A. And there is the shoe of Mark Mosley that has succeeded on 2 field goals. One from long range. He hit from 42 yards out.
And he's keeping his kicking foot warmed up with that little warmer on his little booty. But there's been some conversation around the league for a lot of years that he had some illegal equipment in that shoe. And well, obviously that wasn't the case.
Bob, you wear one up here in the booth.
Certainly do.
2nd and 2. And it's Kennebrew close to the first down. Butts and Cherry on the stop. And that's Rich Malott.
Looks like he's got a shoulder, maybe a pinched nerve in the neck, a zinger as they call it.
3rd down and 1. And now the first down is picked up by Killebrew. Bengals waste very little time between plays.
Well, that was their hurry-up offense. They have the ability to do that. You know, one of the reasons, as we take a look at Malott as they look at him on the sideline, one of the reasons the Bengal offense is so tough is they have the quickness and the speed on the outside, the bigness and size in their offensive line, plus they have the power runner in Killebrew and the shake and bake runner in James Brooks.
First down from Cincinnati's 31, and flags are thrown. Cincinnati is averaging 28 points a game. They are 2nd in scoring in the NFL to the Chicago Bears.
False start, number 82, offense.
That's the tight end, Rodney Holman. Holman jumping. First down and 15 back at the 26. A bullet for Brooks. And let's see what they call it. They say incomplete. Neil Olkowitz with the hit on Brooks.
Redskins going more to a zone defense, Marv. They've had enough of that man-to-man coverage. I think maybe in part to the fact that Vernon Dean is out of the ball game and that Barry Wilburn is in there at that corner. He wants to give everybody a little help, just play a zone and not give them any big, easy touchdowns.
2nd down, 15. Oh, a dangerous pass intercepted by Cherry. Pressure from Manley, and Esiason threw it on the run.
And Cherry gets even for some of those passes they've been completing in his area a little bit earlier. As we see the design sprint out to get Esiason outside the pocket. He throws it on the run because of Manley. Now the receiver doesn't come back. That's Collinsworth. Cherry sees the ball all the way. As we'll take a look at Raphael Cherry going to the deep middle on his own now, playing the ball. You know, he's been a quarterback. He's probably seen many of these. He knew the quarterback had to get rid of it and timed his interception perfectly.
First down from the 39, and here's Monk taking a hard hit out of bounds. Bobby Kemp, the strong safety, with the pop. There he is.
You knew that hurt. You knew it hurt because he got up quick. He's going to get up quick just to show everybody that it didn't hurt, but oh boy, let me get out of here. It's enemy territory. It's the wrong bench.
Amazing how your sense of humor has grown since you jumped up to the broadcast booth. You laugh at these hard hits now.
No, I sympathize with him.
Yes. 2nd and 7, pickup of 3. The interception by Cherry, giving the ball back to Washington. Cherry's 2nd interception of the season. And Schrader able to find Clark. Beautiful move by Clark for the first down. Put the spin on Lewis Breeden.
They're giving a little bit more attention to Art Monk, and that is opening up the field a little more for Clark. Schrader is finding him a little bit more as we see some good moves. Clark, free agent coming in, having caught 59 passes coming into the ball game.
First down at the Cincinnati 26. 35 seconds left. 3rd quarter. George Rogers inside the 20 and a fumble. Cincinnati says they have it. We'll wait for the official indication. A apparently Washington maintaining possession. The ruling, the ball was dead.
Well, they were grabbing for it and pulling as we take another look at it. I think you're going to see at the end here, they're fighting for it on the way down. It's Boyarsky, number 61, having a bit of it, but they were on the ground when it came loose.
Cincinnati locker room as we get underway in this fourth quarter. George Rogers, fumble, coughed it up. And again, Washington able to hang on. But the Redskins have had all kinds of fumble problems. They have lost 3 fumbles today.
And coming into the game, Marv, they had fumbled 19 times and lost it 14, as opposed to their opponents fumbling it 24 times and only getting it 8. So when they fumble, they lose it, and when their opponents have been fumbling, the Redskins have not gotten on it, and that is one of the reasons why their turnover ratio has not been as good as it should have been in the past.
Keith Griffin has come on, replacing George Rogers. And this is Griffin. Jerry Boyarsky on the stop. Redskins have fumbled 5 times in all, and they have lost 3.
Well, that's been their pattern this year. When they fumble, they lose it, and when the opponents fumble, they have not been getting on it.
I'll look at the stats through 3 quarters.
Not much rushing on either side.
2nd down and 7. Down to the 13. Bengals lead by 4. Play action. Schrader goes for the end zone, and it's broken up. Reggie Williams on the deflection and then tried to pick it off. 3rd down play just ahead. Cincinnati.
Schrader with a play action fake, trying to hold the linebacker, Williams. Williams not having any of it, almost makes the interception.
Cincinnati with only 16 passing yards, 44 total yards in the 3rd quarter, as the Redskins began to come on in the 2nd quarter. Cincinnati led at one point 24-7. 3rd and 7. Touchdown. Clint Didier. But there is a flag on the play. And they will bring it back against Washington.
You see the reaction of Schrader. He's the man that has to make the plays.
Number 86. 4-3
Didier, number 86, called on the push to get open, but Schrader, the quarterback, trying to make things happen, finally gets it in the end zone. And you can see Schrader throwing it to the outside. Didier just running to the ball. Good throw, but they had ruled that he had pushed off on Bobby Kemp to get out and get that open on the reception.
So the ball set back to the 23. It'll be a 3rd down and 17. Earlier, a 77-yard punt return for a touchdown called back because of a penalty. Incomplete. Intended for Clark.
Marv, you mentioned a little earlier, the Redskins, the least penalized team in the league, have lost 2 touchdowns today due to penalties.
And Mark Mosley, who hit from 42 and from 39, will come on. And he will attempt from 40 yards out. Last week, Mosley went over the 1,300-point mark. Only 7 players in NFL history have reached that plateau. And this one is no good. So Mosley now 2 for 3 on the day, and the Redskins remain 4 behind.
Watch Mosley's reaction right here. Once, twice, 3 times.
Out to the 27. Rafael Cherry, the strong safety, and Neil Olkowitz combining on the stop. What has happened to the Cincinnati offense?
I think part of the reason is the change in the defensive strategy. The other thing is, offensively, it may have come too easy to them, too quickly. 24 points, they may have thought they could do it any time, and now they're struggling.
2nd and 6. And again to the ground, and Kennebrew is stopped by Malott.
I think the other thing, Marv, is that defensively they're up against a pretty good defense. There's Redskins number 3 in the entire 28-team league in defense, and so you weren't going to keep scoring on them the way the Bengals were doing early in the ball game.
3rd down and 6 for Boomer Esiason and the Bengals.
Richie Pettibone in the middle of your screen sending his signals in.
And there's Brian Blados returning to the Cincinnati sideline. Here's Kreider, and he has the first down. Kreider, the man set in motion, and catching it in the flat. Kevin Williams bumping him out, and the Bengals pick up the first down. 11:35 remaining in this 4th quarter, and Cincinnati leading Washington by the score of 24-20. The Bengals coming off that stunning 50-24 walloping of the Dallas Cowboys last week, called the perfect game offensively by Cincinnati.
Well, they did a lot of things right, and it's very tough to put 2 splendid, excellent, perfect, if you want to call it, back-to-back offensive efforts. They did it very well early, but now the defense of the Redskins is catching up.
First down at the 33. Here's Brooks. To the 39, he picked up 6. It'll be a 2nd and 4. Mel Kaufman bumped him out. James Brooks averaging 5 yards per carry. 12 touchdowns in all this season.
Show you what they're doing. The linebackers here, he's going to drop back into this zone. Another linebacker, all these are linebackers going to drop straight back into zones and not allow the man-to-man coverage. As you see, deep safety in the middle of the field. That's the change in philosophy for the Redskins in the second half.
Collinsworth, top of your screen, but it's to the ground for nothing. Dexter Manley was right there. Manley stopping Brooks.
Ken Anderson on the left side of your screen, sending Steve Kreider in the ball game. Sam White holds up 4 fingers. That will probably mean 4 wide receivers.
Ken Anderson played briefly last week against Dallas, and many are wondering if that was his finale.
Brian Blados hopes he retires because he caught the last pass. Be a great trivia question.
With Bob Greasy, this is Marv Albert from RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C. Cincinnati Bengals lead the Washington Redskins 24-20. We're early 4th quarter, 3rd down and 3 for Cincinnati from their 40. Here's Brooks. First down. That was a perfectly timed pass for the streaking James Brooks. 15-yard pickup.
Well, they're in man-to-man coverage at time. Here's Brooks right here. The man that has to cover him is this linebacker. Now, as Brooks goes across the formation, watch this linebacker run over there to cover him. Brooks takes off. Kaufman, 55, has a long way to go. The ball is thrown on time, and that's the key to that play. Good coverage, but the ball was there, and he was able to catch it and move upfield.
4th catch of the day by Brooks. First down at the Washington 45. 10 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Brooks on a reverse. A double reverse for Collinsworth. And a fumble. And the Redskins seem to think they have it. Collinsworth on the fumble. And Washington has recovered.
I don't know about the advisability of that play, Marv, because a double reverse, you have everybody going in one direction, and then you fool them. You come back and go to the other direction, and then you give it again, and you come back where you had everybody fooled. I don't know if that was such a smart play. You know, you can do so much. You get so fancy. Now you got everybody over to this side of the field. Now run the reverse to the other side. You come back and you give it back to the ones where you had them fooled. I don't know about that. I don't understand that play. The ball's in the air, and of course these coaches film study all week. I'm sure they saw something in the films that would have them run that play, but I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
And for Cincinnati, their first fumble. And, of course, they turn it over. First down from the 42. And Washington on a reverse. Here's Monk looking to throw and run out of bounds.
And good coverage downfield. I'll tell you, it's almost as if the Redskins are on the one side, and Joe Gibbs says, he's running a reverse. We got that play in our deal. Let me look down here. I said, yeah, we wanted to run this at about the 40-yard line. Let's run that play as Don Bro in the stocking cap signals in the plays. But that happens. I remember when I was playing, I'd sit on the sideline and watch the other team. They'd run something, and I'd say, that's right, we got that play. I'll run that. And there is no holding back here. 9 minutes, 47 seconds. Both teams trying to get into those playoffs.
Fun to watch, but none of these reverses have worked. This one just lost 2. 2nd and 12. And Schrader goes sideline. Art Monk sets the tackle and has the first down. 17-yard play. A remarkable day for Art Monk, his 11th catch this afternoon.
Schrader is looking downfield deeper, and then he sees that Clark is covered, throws out to Monk. He breaks the tackle of Breeden and then gets upfield, and a good tackle by Griffin.
And it's a first down at the 42 in Cincinnati territory. Redskins trailing the Bengals 24-20. 9 minutes left, fourth quarter. Keith Griffin. Jerry Boyarsky on the stop. Picked up a yard on the play. Jay Schrader, who took over for the injured Joe Theismann, has won 3 of 4.
I tell you, I don't know who thinks up some of these signals, but they got to be great. You know, it just builds on and on and on. I mean, you have these basic signals to begin with, and then you want to add, you tell receivers or blocking assignments, and you start, that little shake could be a shake. Give him a choice. You can go one way or the other.
2nd and 9. A bullet thrown by Schrader again. It is Monk. And Breeden on the tackle, but short of the first down.
You know, sometimes the more elaborate the signal, it's going to be a pass. Right here is Monk. As the tight end will go straight down, Monk's going to come down, and you'll see a big open area here in the middle of the field. He comes back. Now the tight end's going to clear. Look at the middle of the field where the umpire is, wide open. Just good coverage on the play, but the catch ties a club record for Art Monk.
And that's the most catches as a pro in a single game for Monk, his 12th of the day. 3rd down and 2. Otis. George Rogers with a burst for 34 yards. Taken the lead. Mark Mosley adds the extra point. And the Redskins now lead the Bengals 27-24 with 7:25 remaining fourth quarter.
Let's take a look. Now watch the offensive line. They'll just be straight blocking all along the line. The linebacker is going to run himself out as the blocking back, and Rodgers will come right through here. But watch the linebacker and the offensive line blocking. The linebacker goes to the outside. Rodgers sees the gap where the linebacker should have been. And this is one of the reasons why Rodgers is in the ball game and not John Riggins, his ability to make the big play.
Now, National Football League rules require that we present away games starting with the opening kickoff to stations in the team's home area. So viewers in Seattle will be leaving this game in a few minutes for a telecast involving the Seattle Seahawks. However, we'll continue to bring you reports on this game to keep you up to date. And Seattle and the Los Angeles Raiders, the second part of the doubleheader here on NBC for most of the country. Cincinnati Bengals at one point led 24-7, and the Redskins now with a 27-24 lead. The kickoff by Cox. Taken by Mike Martin to the 10. Across the 20-yard line.
Let's go back and take a look. 53 Bostic, 63 is McKenzie, 91 Zander gets blocked, and Rodgers is right up inside, and no one is going to catch him. Redskins staying with their game plan, coming back. Great effort to take the lead in this ball game.
First down from the 23. And it's Eddie Brown for the first down. Green and Cherry on the stop, and here is the hurry-up offense by the Bengals.
They actually call it more of an at-the-line offense. It's not a hurry-up. They don't rush. They just line up, take their time, and call their play.
First down from the 40. Brooks out to the 47, met by Monty Coleman. Clock running. We're down to 6.5 left, fourth quarter. Redskins by 3, 27-24. Second and 3 off the 7-yard pickup.
Got to give a lot of credit to Esiason being able to handle this style of offense.
Brooks in motion. Incomplete. Intended for Brooks. Covered by Darrell Green.
Esiason makes a good choice. Watch the linebacker right here as one of the backs come out of the backfield. The linebacker is going to step in front of the receiver coming out. Now Esiason, if he throws this ball, the game is over. You see him pump right there, and then he held on to it.
It's a third down and 2. Intended for Collinsworth. Barry Wilburn covering Chris Collinsworth.
Interesting decision right here. Do you go ahead and go for it? There are 5 minutes, 54 seconds to play. It's 4th and 2. Or do you go ahead and punt it away and hope that your defense stops the Redskins offense?
Well, Pat McAnally, who did not punt the last time Cincinnati was in that situation, suffering a hip pointer, is back on the field. Jim Breach punting the last time, and here's McAnally. So Cincinnati will punt from their 33. And Darrell Green is back. This time, no return, which delights the Bengals.
See, McAnally still limping, but very smartly kicking it away.
With 5:47 remaining in this fourth quarter. George Rogers, the lone deep back. Here's Rogers across the 20. And the clock is running. Cleveland over Houston, 28-14, 5.5 minutes remaining in that game. Now, if Cleveland wins and Cincinnati loses, Cleveland would knock out the Cincinnati Bengals.
Cleveland would win the Central Division. So Cincinnati needs to win this ball game, as do the Washington Redskins.
Many other possibilities concerning the Redskins. 2nd and 7 from the 22. That's Monk in motion. And Monk with the catch. And run out by Kemp. Good block by Gary Clark. A 40-yard pass play.
Schrader dropping straight back. Monk starts to the outside, comes back to the inside, and is led very well. Now the two linebackers there need to make the play. None of them make it. Number 50, Cameron, threw at him, but that Monk gets a step on the linebackers, the defensive backs, and makes it a big play out of a short completion.
Art Monk, who came in second in receiving in the NFC, has had a sensational day. First down at the 37. Hard driving move by Keith Griffin. Simpkins, Ron Simpkins, and James Griffin on the stop. It'll set up a 2nd down and 3 at the Cincinnati 30. Clark and Monk to the right. Griffin, the lone deep back. Here's Griffin. And he has the first down. Keith Griffin, the brother of Ray, one-time Cincinnati Bengal and Heisman Trophy winner. Archie. There's John Riggins. And it remains to be seen whether he will get into this ball game.
He's moved around the entire ball game. Marv gone back of the bench, caught some passes for the quarterbacks when they've thrown, tried to stay warm, but so far not in the ball game.
First down at the Cincinnati 25. Good move to the outside by Griffin. Horton and Zander on the stop, but the Redskins using that clock. We approach 3 minutes remaining fourth quarter, and Washington in front 27-24.
You know, there's been a transition with the Washington Redskins. As I looked at Keith Griffin, he's doing the same job that Joe Washington used to do. Schrader is in for Theismann. You have Rogers in for Riggins, but it's the same style of offense, the same style play, different players in those positions.
Didier in motion, and Griffin this time cut off. Ron Simpkins with the hit.
And you could see with that big hit, all the other Bengals in the area looking around the ground for the fumble.
Third down play coming up. 3rd down and 7 at the 22. This will be the 7th play of the drive, and Griffin has carried the previous 4. The go-ahead score, a 34-yard touchdown run by George Rogers to put the Redskins in front 27-24. They have come back from 24-7. Coming up next here on NBC, the second half of our NFL doubleheader. Seattle Seahawks, who are still in the playoff chase, go up against the AFC West Division leading LA Raiders. That'll be live from the Coliseum in Los Angeles. A win for the Raiders would clinch the AFC West.
And this is where you decide right here, Marv, as the Redskins are talking about it on the other sideline, whether or not what you're going to do on fourth down. It's 3rd and 7 here. Do you throw a pass, and if it's incomplete, then you're going to kick the field goal. But maybe maybe it's a 4-down zone. Maybe you can run 2 plays and pick up a first down. So this is the time to decide. If they throw a pass incomplete, then it would be like a 39, 40-yard field goal for Mark Mosley, and he's already missed from around that area.
Bengals calling for the time, so they are down to 1 timeout left. Redskins have 2. We talked about the Cincinnati playoff situation. Redskins would love to win their final 2. A 10-6 record would mean a wild card playoff berth. If the Giants beat the Cowboys today, Cowboys are in the process of leading the Giants, or the 49ers lose one of their final 2, or if the Giants lose their final 2, losing to Dallas today and then losing next week against Pittsburgh. 3rd down and 7 from the Cincinnati 22. It was nearly picked off, intended for Clark, and Ray Horton was all over the ball.
Bengals were coming. They were blitzing. Clark on the outside is going to run to his inside as the 2 receivers cross, hoping to give the defensive backs a little bit of a problem, but Schrader, under pressure, threw the ball a little bit behind him. He was wide open.
And here is Mark Mosley, who hit from 42 and from 39, but missed from 40. This from 39 yards away, looking to give Washington a 6-point lead. It is no good. So this means the Bengals can tie it with a field goal and would not have to go for the touchdown.
Exactly. That's exactly what it means. And I think as we look at Sam White, you talk about Mark Mosley. I think you have to mention the fact that Theismann has held for him for all these years. He has a different holder in Schrader now. Of course, you work with him in practice, and even when Theismann was healthy, as he gets a pretty good hold, the laces are forward. There didn't seem to be any problem with it, but sometimes the kickers like to have their regular holders and regular centers.
Cincinnati taking over from their 22-yard line, 2:13 left, 4th quarter. And Esiason got it away. Esiason in big trouble, but able to come down to Breach, looking to tie this game. His longest of the season from 53 yards away.
You saw Breach just turn that kicking net around. He wants to kick into that kicking net the same way he's going to be kicking the field goal. Now, there's no wind, and there's certainly no wind just warming up. But it just tells you a little bit about the psyche of these kickers.
I mean, that makes sense to me,
They
Bob.
spend all this time by themselves, and they want to kick in the same direction they're going to kick their field goal.
2 minutes remaining, 4th quarter. Redskins by 3 over the Bengals, 27-24. And Esiason with a first down from the 35. Boomer is 19 for 31, 331 yards, 2 touchdowns, and intercepted twice. And he runs it out just shy of the first down marker, pursued by Dexter Manley. Coming up next, following the Bengals and Redskins, the Seahawks and the Raiders from Los Angeles. Second part of the doubleheader here on NBC. Clock stop, minute 51 remaining, 4th quarter. The second at about 1. Martin in motion. And Brooks and Kaufman collide.
The same play as Kaufman is hurt. That ball was almost picked off. In fact, Kaufman thought he was going to intercept the ball. We showed that play a little bit earlier. As you see, 21 Brooks coming this way. Now Kaufman is coming with him. He's shadowing him right there, man for man, and he thought he had the football. Almost picked off.
And they're both going full speed. That did work earlier with Brooks accelerating.
Ooh, what a collision that was.
3rd down and 1. And Kennebrew has the first down. Clock is running. Down to 1:35 in this 4th quarter. Washington leading by 3. First down at the Cincinnati 48. Collinsworth in motion. And Esiason able to complete. Steve Kreider with his 3rd catch of the day. And another Cincinnati first down.
It's interesting, Marv, that now that the Bengals are moving down, the Redskins have gone back to more man-to-man coverage.
Minute 13 remaining. First down at the 41. Intended for Collinsworth, covered by Wilburn.
And covered very well. As it turned out, Wilburn had a better chance of catching the ball than the receiver. Wilburn thought he was interfered with.
And the clock is stopped with 1:08 remaining. 2nd and 10 at the Washington 41. Chant of defense from the crowd. Esiason couldn't find anybody. And the clock stopped with 1 minute remaining.
One of the extra dimension that Esiason gives you, not only his strong arm and his intelligence, is his ability to move around and scramble. He just doesn't run behind the line of scrimmage. He has the ability to cross the line and scramble downfield for some yardage.
It'll be a 3rd down and 4 at the 35 as Breach continues to prepare.
Here they come.
Now Esiason had his arm hit, so he underthrew. Good rush by Rich Malott.
Was on, Marv. Linebackers were coming. He didn't have time, and that's why there was a man in his face and had to get rid of the ball very quickly.
8 plays in this drive. It is the longest one of the day. And now a 4th down and 4 from the 35. They're going for it. It would be a 52-yard field goal. And picks up the first down. Again, Kreider, who has been the money receiver, coming up with the catch. And it'll be a first down for the Bengals at the Washington 27-yard line.
Bengals have 1 timeout remaining.
And we are down to 30 seconds left, 4th quarter.
have taken a timeout, Marv. They wasted too much time, a good 15, 20 seconds. But you'll never get that back. If you take the timeout right away, you can always incompletions or throw the ball away.
Collinsworth with his third catch of the day. And we're down to 22 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. A field goal would tie it. The Bengals want to win it.
Tight man-to-man coverage now in the secondary. I wouldn't be surprised to see some blitzing to pressure the Esiason.
2nd and 4 at the 21. And Esiason overthrows Martin, the intended receiver.
Good play by Esiason. The thing you don't want to do, first of all, you want to complete it, but the thing you don't want to do is take a sack. You can't take a sack because, first of all, you might get hit from behind and fumble the ball, and the ball is over. The game is over with as far as the Bengals are concerned. The other thing you don't want to do is lose that yardage, 8-10 yards to get you out of that field goal range. You like where you are, you'd like to do a little better, but don't take the sack.
And this is the 12th play of the drive. 16 seconds remaining. 3rd down and 4 at the 21. Look out. And it's ruled a sack. They'll bring it back. The sack from the lot. This will not count. Dean Hamill runs it in, but they will bring it back.
The thing we said all the way back at the beginning of the show, Marv, was for the Bengals to win, their offensive line had to give Esiason time. Joe Gibbs now is complaining with... Well, he's talking to Wayne Sevier there, the special teams coach. The Bengals have sent their place kicker onto the field, so it's going to be a field goal attempt. It's 4th down. They have to try it here, but the thing you didn't want to do happened, and that is they took the sack. Esiason shaking his head saying, I never saw him coming. I thought I had some time.
And Gibbs indicating call for time with 12 seconds remaining. Washington with their 3rd sack of the day. Jim Breach hit from 38 yards away in the 2nd quarter. I mentioned his longest was from 53. Going into today, he had missed 3 of his last 4, and 2 of those misses from long range. On the season, he's 21 for 29. And it has come down to this for Sam Weish and his Bengals as Breach hopes to tie the game. Breach in his 7th season out of the University of California, attempting from 51 yards away. Steve Kreider will hold. Remaining. Breach not able to hit from 51, and the Redskins maintain the 27-24 lead. And if Cleveland defeats Houston with the loss by Cincinnati, it is all over for the Bengals.
Well, you see the winners and the losers. The pictures are always the same. It's just the faces that and the names that change on the back of the jerseys, but there's only so many that can get in. And you look back to the earlier games that you may have lost in a close situation and said, we shouldn't have put ourselves in this situation.
And Washington just runs it out. So despite A sensational day for Esiason, 22 for 37, 357 yards. Despite that early 24-7 lead, the Redskins come from way back to beat the Bengals 27-24 and stay alive in their chase for a wild card playoff berth.